Hello, my fellow Lakers and Spice, and welcome back to Scum. And we're going to talk about the medical system that's going to come out in 0.6. And there's quite a bit of stuff to actually talk about, so we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. So first off, there's going to be a process going through your wounds, and that process is called the USR, so the untreated phase, the stabilization phase, the recovery phase. I'm going to go over it real quick. So the untreated phase is where the wound is. And you need to basically diagnose the wound at that time, or you need to find someone to diagnose the wound and patch it. And once you patch it, it's going to go into the stabilization phase. This phase is going to basically be very important because this is where you actually have to watch the wound, make sure it heals properly, and don't overexert yourself so that way the wound doesn't reopen and you have to go back to the untreated phase. After that, you'll go into the recovery phase. The recovery phase basically is you're good, it's stabilizing, all your health points will come back up fully, because during the untreated and stabilization phase you slowly lose health points until it's finally recovering, and then you can regain those health points back, along with any disadvantaged things like losing stamina and stuff like that. That also comes into the recovery phase as well. And there's a lot of things that affect this, and oh my god, I'm going to try to go through as much as I can. So if we got bone fractures here, so basically breaking bones, hands and arms are most likely the bones that you're probably going to break. I don't know if you can break anything else from the looks of it. I don't really see anything, but it's crazy with bones. You can get about 4 types of fractures. You can get a stress fracture, displaced or non-displaced closed, and displaced open. Having a displaced bone, gives you the heebie-jeebies. And 2 of these types, which are the displaced closed and displaced open, can also cause bleed out damage. The rest of them, not so much, but it's still very important to not have those either, because it's not really the best for your character, especially when you're in a PvP fight, or even maybe just trying to walk across the map. So basically what's going to end up happening is you're not going to die from a fracture instantly, but you can die later from blood clots. So even though this is about bone fractures, this specific thing is about bone fractures, it still affects other parts of your body, like blood clots. That's more of your veins and stuff like that. And I don't know exactly what that would be technically, but blood clots, you don't want blood clots. Also, it also causes stamina drain as well, depending on what you have. And that's meaning, you go up to do things like walk, it can cause stamina drain, more stamina drain. And not only can it cause more stamina drain, but it could also get worse. At least I'm assuming it can get worse, I'm pretty sure. And you can end up blacking out. Yeah, you don't want to black out. Or falling over, not being able to walk. You don't want that either. So the more effort you put into something, say you have a leg injury in your left leg, say you have a, I don't know, say you have a stress fracture, right? You continue, you fall on it again, you make it a non-displaced close, and it just gets worse. And so you try to repair it, right? You go through the stabilization phase, you stabilize it, but you still have to be careful, because now you're trying to run and then you fall to the ground. You try to walk and you fall to the ground. Just something, depending on how bad it is, you fall to the ground. And if you put too much pain onto it, you can black out completely. You don't want your character to do that. That's pretty scary. So what you can do is take medical pills, and these, you know how you take painkillers for limping in this game. Well, it's going to be kind of like that, where you basically take painkillers to allow you to walk without falling, but you can still take damage. You can still take damage even with the painkillers on, and once those wear off, you fall to the ground or you black out, depending on it. Arm injuries work a little differently, where they're going to affect you the way you hold a gun, the way you freaking lockpick, and all that stuff. And unless you take painkillers, and then those penalties are gone. But then again, if painkillers stop, they instantly come back. So next up is hemorrhages, and this is crazy. There are 5 types of bandages you can use. There's rags, bandage, pressure dressing, hemostatic bandage powder, instantaneous, and tourniquets. So this is really crazy stuff. So if you get shot in the arm, or say you get grazed, sorry, not shot in the arm, but say you get grazed, right? It's not really, doesn't need stitches, so you don't have to worry about stitching it up. And if that's the case, then it will heal on its own. It'll enter the stabilization phase immediately, kind of like a paper cut, I guess you could say. But otherwise, it's a hemorrhage, and you're gonna have to worry about it a lot. So it looks like depending on the bandage you use, you have a higher chance of infection. So say you use a regular rag, but it's dirty, you just give it a plus 75% chance of infection on top of the infection chance that it already has. Depending on the hemorrhage it is, the worse hemorrhage it is, the more chance of infection. So you don't want that crazy of a hemorrhage, because if you get a crazy hemorrhage, you're gonna have a high chance of infection, and that's not good. It's also multiplied based on your skill. So yeah, you just don't. But if you end up having, you know, a problem and you don't have a medical person that, you know, heals you up properly, you're just gonna hope for the best and hope that you have the best of the best tourniquet that you can find. Because I think the hemostatic bandage powder and the tourniquet are kind of the same thing almost. But the tourniquet is the best out of them all. And there is another right here. This is a class 5 right here. And you also have skill bonuses, also depending on your medical skill level. And so this will make things faster on healing them and stuff like that, and lower the chance of infection. So that's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. So Advanced Plus is minus 5% chance of infection. That's pretty darn cool, at least in my opinion. But you have no skill, it's a plus 20%. That's not good. But stabilization is faster with Advanced Plus. You get minus 20 seconds, but you get plus 20 seconds if you have no skill. It's a trade-off. You really want that. You really want that advanced medical skill, or at least somebody in your squad to have an advanced medical skill, because it's going to be crazy nuts, and you don't want to get infected, because then you're back to ground or to square one. And there's something later that I gotta show you guys that infections can get pretty darn bad. So we also have foot abrasions and friction injuries. Oh yes, your feet can get injured and can go pretty bad. They can become scratched or have class 1, class 2, class 3, or class 4 problems. I guess I'm just gonna call them problems. They can cause bleed out. They can also get infected themselves, and they do have movement penalties depending on your running or jogging. And if you get a class 4, you can't run at all. So, and also depending on what you're walking on, the type of terrain you're walking on, that also affects it all as well, and the amount of force that you put out as well. So it's pretty scary stuff that your feet are walking barefoot, or even with something, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just it can be really crazy. And multipliers are applied depending if you're walking, jogging, or running, so they can get way worse. And as you can see here, if you're resting, that's probably the best thing you could probably do for yourself. The scratch will heal itself, and other things will probably just heal itself. You can also use painkillers, also, and anti-inflammatory drugs, and that'll help as well. That's basically with everything. But you can also get trench foot, and obviously your feet have to be damp or cold for a while, so you want to dry your shoes, because your clothes are going to matter. And I'm sure that's probably gonna go for everything. If you're wearing dirty clothes and you have an arm hemorrhage, I'm sure that might affect you getting infection. So remember when they added that bar soap to the game and they're like, hey, you can wash clothes now? Yeah, you might want to do that now. I'm just saying. So let's go ahead and move on to this right here, because this is actually the thing that I wanted to get to. And this is wound infections. So this is more about infections, but it also shows a whole crap load of stuff: cardiac artery damage, femoral artery damage, aortic artery damage, spinal cord injuries, kidney damage, intestine damage, pancreas damage, skull damage, bone fractures, additional healing drugs and supplements, situational triage, example of a simple wound, example of a complex wound, which is what this is, wound infection, Oh no, this is actually wound infection. Complex wounds above this, I think. Right here, muscle tissue, rib fractures, stress fractures. I don't even know. Wound infection, bacterial infection, leg injuries, head injuries, toothaches, dental cares. Oh my god, stomach issue, overeating, food poisoning. Oh, wow, there's quite a few food poisonings, deficiency conditions, energy deficiency, fat deficiency, protein, sodium, vitamin deficiency. Oh my goodness. This medical system is really big and very large, and the amount of damage you can get yourself into is just crazy. So let's look at the wound infection, because that's what we got here. I don't think we have the whole thing, but it says gangrene right here. You can get a fever, incubation. Oh my goodness, it's just the body temperature for each one. Fatigue, increased body temperature, MSR growth. Oh my god, rapid breathing, fast heartbeat, vomiting. Gangrene is probably going to be the worst. I would hate for anyone to get gangrene. I wonder if surgeries are going to be in the game. That would be very, very interesting if you get a wound so bad that you would have to actually have surgery on it. That would be crazy. But yeah, this is just yeah, these are all the medical leaks that I just wanted to show you guys that are just crazy. Like, I can't even, they're just insane, the amount of them that there are. And that's all the leaks that they had. That's it. But jeez, guys, like, man, PvP is gonna be crazy for all of you. You guys are gonna be more careful about what you do in the game and everything. It's gonna change the game forever, especially bot servers where PvP is just crazy rampant in bot servers. I don't even know. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to respawn with this. Like, if you respawn, say you get like class 4 hemorrhage, you don't want to deal with it, it gets infected, and you really don't want to deal with it, so you kill your character and then you respawn again. I don't even know if that's gonna be a thing. You might still have the infection. It's very possible. So but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to go through all these medical things and show you guys everything that was here. Other than that, I really do hope you guys do enjoy your day, and I'm out.